Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Health and Human Service and Aging Committee, Wednesday, April 3rd. Can we have a roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Ms. Conwell.
Present.
Mr. Sweeney.
Present.
Ms. Stevens. Ms. Stevens is absent at the moment. Ms. Turner.
Present.
Mr. Miller.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, has anyone signed in for public comment?
Yes, Madam Chair. Lou.
Welcome, Ms. Lou.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I'm here to definitely support our Father's Initiative, such a good program. This program has helped lots of the people staying connected with their father or with their children, either way you look at it. However, if you fall into homelessness already, you are on the street or you stay in the shelter, even this program exists, it's still hard for you to get in the program because you don't have a place to stay, and for you to get that information, for you to participate, it's difficult. And I'm so glad that we have so many organizations supporting this initiative. But I think county, we still need to figure it out how to let the extreme low income or the homeless population who do not have a reliable means for transportation, who don't have a reliable means for some other issues, to get into this program in order to stay connected with their families, their loved ones. This is a valuable program. I wish it will be even more successful from now on. But that means our revenue, our taxpayers' dollars should be spent wisely to enrich this kind of programs instead of something we do not need, which are the type of programs to push people into mass incarcerations and homelessness. Please let me alert you about that again. The threat has not been any less than before. And right now, with the current inflation, the economy, actually, obviously, we have more homeless people, and actually, we have more people want to put them into the jail. That's why we need to build a new, bigger county jails. Is that really a good way to go? No. And I hope our HSS levy will actually help out, because this dollar amount we just got passed does not really reflect the inflations we have been facing. So please help us to direct the taxpayers' dollars wisely to meet the needs of the people and avoid the drawbacks from all the gaps. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if we could have a motion for the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Turner, seconded by Miller. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Who is before us today?
Resolution 2024-0128, making awards on requisition 13809 to a master contract with various providers in the total amount not to exceed $1,444,625 for various programs and resources for the Cuyahoga County Fatherhood Initiative for the period April 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025 for the providers listed 1 through 11 on the agenda.
And who is presenting today?
Committee, and thank you for allowing us to bring this to your matter today. I'm Al Grimes. I'm the administrator of the Cuyahoga County Fatherhood Initiative. I have with me today some of our program providers. If you guys can stand up as I read your names so that you guys can become familiar with the committee. Mr. Maurice Stevens from our Rising Above program, Ms. Sarah Albrecht from our Boot Camp for New Dads program, Mr. Marcus Jordan from University Settlements program, Joe Hewitt from our JDC, our Public Awareness program, Brian Moore from our Passages Families Resiliency program, Heather Reset from the Mercer Fatherhood program, Ronnie Cannon and Sam Awad from the Towards Employment program, and Max Rodas from our Prevent Premature Fatherhood program at Nuevo Luz. So, you know, these are the real experts in the room, and those are the ones that have been, thanks, guys. Those are the guys who've been providing valuable services over the last few years. These contracts represent 11 programs to be funded by the Fatherhood Initiative from April 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2025. The contracts are a result of a fatherhood RFP that was issued to the community on December 12th, 2023. 13 proposals were received and 11 recommended for funding. There are a variety of programs designed to assist fathers in meeting both the financial and the emotional needs of their children. They range from job training and replacement to a boot camp for new dads in 9 hospitals to ensure that fathers stay involved in the academic lives of their children in 3 K-8 schools, to the Prevention of Premature Fatherhood program for teens to deter them from being fathers until they are financially and emotionally ready. These contracts will allow us to continue serving fathers and families in Cuyahoga County in a much-needed and critical capacity. Our mission is to significantly increase the number of number of fathers who are involved in nurturing and raising their children. Research has shown that when fathers are involved, children are less likely to drop out of school, less likely to become incarcerated, less likely to do drugs, less likely to commit crimes, less likely to become teen parents, along with other issues. When fathers are involved, children live a more healthy and productive life. The Fatherhood Initiative has 4 goals: to promote the importance of fathers being involved in their children's lives, make sure that when fathers are treated fairly and in a father-friendly manner when they come to the county for services. Like I said, to fund programs to assist fathers in meeting the financial and emotional needs of their children. And 4, to celebrate healthy father-child relationships through our annual Fatherhood Conference. Fatherhood Initiative serves approximately 6,000 fathers and teens through our funded programs, an additional 600 at our annual Fatherhood Conference, and a total of and about 19,000 fathers through our Fathers Walk to School program. In addition, we receive about 2,500 calls from members of the community on an annual basis. So in total, we're probably touching about 25,000 community members a year. And I will answer any questions that you have.
All right, thank you, Director. Has there been any changes in the contract language
And
from
language,
the last time this was before us?
No, pretty much the same programs are doing substantially the same things. We've got a different mix of programs. We had our program with the Board of Health, who've decided to move in a different direction, but we replaced that, and that was dealing with teens, but that's been replaced with the Fathers in the Ring program, which currently exists with Nuevo Luz. So different mix in programs, but the objectives remain pretty much the same of each program.
Who were the other 2 agencies that applied that did not receive a contract?
The 2 agencies were the City of East Cleveland was the one agency, and the second agency was, I'm going to get this right, Iona Productions.
Can you talk about, is there a scoring mechanism?
Yes. There's a scoring mechanism for all of the proposals that come in. Those 2 organizations scored substantially lower than the rest of the programs that we funded.
Okay, so was there a place amount? So whoever did the scoring, was it a set amount, like we're only going to do 11?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. We tried to use the money that we had in our budget to fund as many programs as we could, as long as they met a threshold of the scoring. But, you know, these 2 were programs that were kind of disingenuous and scored at a low level. And we've asked those programs, you know, that we welcome them to come back and apply again the next time we have an RFP out on the street.
Have either of those 2 that did not make it ever received a funding before? They were just new?
No, they were new. It's interesting. One of the programs was an offshoot of a previous program, and the other two in there.
All right, have there been any funds left? Well, I want to kind of understand. So has there been any funds left within each agency after the contract year?
No, our agencies are spending all of the dollars that have been allocated through their contract, the last three contracts. Our contracts where we had a 2-year contract and then we had an amended year. And so it ended up being a 3-year contract, and all of the organizations have spent their funded money.
All right, I'm going to open it up to my colleagues for any additional questions. Councilman Miller.
Madam Chair, Director, how long has the County Fatherhood Initiative been in existence?
It's almost, actually 20 years. We started in 2004. This will be the 20th year that we're operating. We will be having our 18th annual Fatherhood Conference on June 14th. And the only reason it's 18th conference is because we didn't have it 2 years during COVID. But, yeah, we've been around for a while now.
And Madam Chair, Director, are there any other communities around the country that have been doing fatherhood programs longer than we have, or are we among the first?
We're among the first, and I'll say we've been blessed to be able to sustain our programs for the number of years that we've had. We're probably one of the larger ones in the region and in the country, and we've had the support of county government. We've had the support of the commissioners. We've had the support of county council. And that is, I can't tell you how important it is knowing that there's a line item in the budget for programming so that you're not always, so the programs like this, other places aren't always looking for, if I don't get a grant this year, if I don't get a grant this year, I don't know what's going to happen next year. So because of the support that we've had from the commissioners and then from county council and from the county executive, we've been able to stay pretty sustained over the years.
So, having operated for 20 years, do we know whether there's been an increase in the percentage of children in Cuyahoga County who have fathers that are actively involved with them?
I would say yes. I would say yes, because what we're doing, what we do on an annual basis, it's interesting you asked that. We did an economic study a few years ago on the impact. We had an outside organization on the impact of our programs, and for the first $5 million, they came back and said this has had about $121 million impact, because they looked at the number of children who were now not in the system that maintain residence with both parents. We looked at the number of kids for our Prevent Premature Fatherhood program who are now staying in school versus dropping out. We looked at the number of children who've been through our Boot Camp for New Dads program. And we looked at out of 1,000 kids who've been through our Boot Camp for New Dads, Boot Camp for New Dads program, not a child from one of those organizations, one of those programs, has suffered from shaken baby syndrome, which would cost $150,000 a family. So we're always looking at the big picture statistics to determine how well we're doing.
And Madam Chair, Director, do we have information on what our current status is? What percentage of children in Cuyahoga County currently have fathers that are actively involved in their care?
I can tell you the percentage. I can tell you the percentage of children in Cuyahoga County that are growing up in single-parent households, and that one of the things that a lot of people look at single-parent households, and you'll say, "Well, that's probably just based upon this particular neighborhood or this particular ward." Countywide, 44.5% of children are growing up in single-parent households. So the fact is that, countywide, almost half the families are single-parent households. So we have to make sure that, our programs are addressing all parents throughout the community. Now, if you were to say, there's 10% of families that are living in fathers, where the father's the head of household. So if you say the 10% of families that are living in fathers' households, and 46% that are living in single parent, or 56% living in a single parent house, you can say, okay, 64% are living in with a father in the house. But, you know, the remaining number of people that are are actively involved, we can't really say how much that is because we can only speak for the programs that we fund. We do know this, and one of the things that the reason that we know we're being effective is like our Fathers Walk to School program, right? Schools come to us and say, well, we can't get fathers involved, we can't get dads to come to school, right? Well, the third week in September every year, we do our Fathers Walk. Last year, we had 19,500 fathers walk their kids to school. And so the schools are saying, you know, on that particular day, and because of the Fathers Walk to School, we got a plethora of different fathers who are now engaged in coming to school, coming to parent-teacher conferences and things of that nature. So if you ask the school district what kind of impact it's had, they'll say it's been extremely impactful.
Madam Chair, Director, I presume your goal is that fathers are actively involved whether they're living in the household or not.
Absolutely. It's interesting you would say that because one of the things that we do is that's like even from single parent households or divorce households. One of the things that we do is we work with domestic court. And so a lot of times people think about single parent households, but we work with domestic court. And so when a couple gets divorced, right, our Children's Museum, our dads count at the Children's Museum of Cleveland, we're there, we're giving the divorced parents information on the Children's Museum of Cleveland because now that they're divorced and maybe the father has a child on the weekend, he needs something to do with the children. So, you know, one of the options is to go through our Children's Museum of Cleveland program. So I say that to say that we're working with both, you know, divorced parents, we're working with never married parents, and we're working with parents who are expecting their first children. You know, there's a lot of our parents who are financially have, you know, the means to do something, but the first time you have a child, any of us have been a new father, it's like a new experience. So we have folks, you know, and I don't want to say, you know, different geographic areas, but for example, our program at Southwest Hospital in Strongsville, we got a bunch of dads coming there because they just want to learn to be a good dad. And so I always say when I'm talking to a group that the Fatherhood Initiative, you know, is for white fathers, black fathers, purple fathers, green fathers. All you have to do is want to be a better father in your child's life, and we welcome you. And that's why we have a diverse programs, like I said, to make sure the fathers are there both financially and emotionally. Because you can be a dad that's there all day buying the new Jordans and buying the new warm-up suits, but when your child wants to talk to somebody about being bullying or what's going on at school, or what's going on in the neighborhood, you got to have them there too. On the other hand, you guys can be best fathers, high-fiving, playing Call of Duty all day, but the kids have to eat, right? So I know I'm probably talking a little longer than you want me to, but I just want you to get a feel for why we have a range of programs that we have.
So, Madam Chair, Director, I'm going to say something, and I only say this because of the importance of the work that you're doing. And it's that I think you need better statistics. For example, I'm sure there's some children that are living in two-parent households where both parents live there and still the dad isn't very much involved. And then there's probably somewhere where it's a single parent household, but still both parents are involved, and I think you need better information on what's out there and to what extent the efforts we're making are moving the needle. So I just put that out there to think about.
Okay. And I will say, one of the things that we do is for the programs that we do fund, you know, there is definitely goals and measures that they have to hit in order to be fully funded. I appreciate the information, the request.
Sweeney and then Councilwoman Turner, sorry.
Sweeney. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. It's always a pleasure seeing you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Kudos is an understatement to you and your team for the stuff you are doing for the fathers. I've been part of it since 2004, back in the other job I had. And the two people besides yourself is Kevin Cruncher Conwell and Peter Lawson Jones. I think I said this last time you came up, and they brought it to my forefront. And even Kevin Cruncher Conwell was Man of the Year one day, or Father of the Year one day on the national level. So he didn't just take the glory, he put his stature to work. So that's how I see it here. And my question, my colleagues might get a little bit irritated, but I wouldn't mind knowing what everybody does here. 'Cause I mean, they're all cool titles. Boot camp for dads.
Yeah.
They're
If we can say. if we can-
fatherhood career pathways, what's that? Or
Yeah, if we
Okay.
can
Public-
say, we can say that, Sweeney, I was going to circle back to that. I want you guys to get your initial questions.
Okay.
Because we're.
And she checks me in the, I'm done then. That's all I had.
Yeah. I just, I know usually when they come up, so
I
we're
just want
gonna,
to, I mean, this all sounds cool,
because
man.
there's some new ones that I want to know. So I will turn it over to Council.
I was also interested in hearing from them, but I did have a question, and
Okay.
to Director Grimes, I want to, thank you for your fortitude and to continuing to develop and expand this program out. I've had the opportunity to speak on multiple occasions over the years when I worked for Senator Brown, and haven't really invited me since I've been on council. Maybe once. You always invite the president because he's a man, but I'll be looking for my invitation this year. I was looking at the contract evaluation forms. Who's responsible for these?
Me. Yeah, and I do, and these are based upon like I said, the statistics that are in the contracts as to whether or not you're meeting those goals or not.
Okay, because I noticed that everybody got a superior rating.
That's because everybody got a superior rating. One got a very good rating, and that's because they have met the goals of the contract.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I have a couple more questions, and then we'll go to the providers. Has there been any work with the youth in DH that has been released back home to their families with connecting them to the fatherhood resources?
Specific program, no. However, it's interesting that when those 2,500 calls that we get a year, those calls come from everybody. Sometimes the calls come directly from the fathers. Sometimes the calls come from a mother of a child who's just re-entering the program. So the short answer is yes, that, if they're coming back to school, we're in the schools with our premature fatherhood program that's open to everybody. One of the things that we used to have, and we're probably going to try to put that back in Boot Camp for New Dads, is going into the Community Correctional, the CCBF. So we're going to be looking for some programs in there. I know that Reverend Moore, in addition to what he's doing with the Family Resiliency Program, which is a job training and placement program, he's doing some work in a couple of institutions. So no one is disqualified from participating in our program.
Director, are any of these providers that are before us today new to this contract? Or-
Yes. Mr. Brodus is new this time. It's interesting. He had a Hispanic fatherhood program a number of years ago, and then has been into a number of different things on the west side of Cleveland, primarily working with Hispanic and immigrants. And now he's back as one of the fatherhood providers. And he's got a program called, we talked about details, he's got a program called Fathers in the Ring, where fathers and children are engaged in martial arts. And in addition to the martial arts activities, there are some educational workshops on how to not become a dad until you're ready.
Very good.
Safe dating relationships, healthy sexual habits, healthy relationships, and things of that nature.
Okay, before we hear from some of the others, I'd like to invite Mr. Rodis up, because I had a question mark about that. I didn't remember the Fathers in the Ring, to just give us a brief synopsis. Come up to the mic, state your name, brief synopsis of what your program does. Yes.
The opportunity. So I'm mostly known for the work that we do, Nueva Luz does with HIV.
Excuse me, could you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Max Rodas.
Thank you.
I'm the executive director of Nueva Luz Urban Resource Center. We have like 30-some people working there, heavily funded by Ryan White, Part B, Part A, Board of Health. But at the same time that we're going to celebrate 25 years this July of doing this kind of work, we've been working with youth, teaching youth, urban youth, Kung Fu. Now we're doing boxing and kickboxing. And we have a couple of our guys that actually graduated and had MMA fights. I never was one of the biggest fans of MMA. I thought it was pretty brutal. But they have trained hard. And a couple of our guys actually fought good fights, and we won both of those fights. So as it relates to this program, we see families coming in, fathers and children, mothers, with the infusion of immigrants from all over the world, basically, from Venezuela, Nicaragua, Congo, all the different parts, the Ukrainians and other Afghanis, and they're receiving all these services in other places. But Africans and Latinx people are really short of resources. We began to reinvent ourselves and begin to use the gym that we have to train folks to, it's an out-of-school strategy. Those 3 hours between 4 and 7, when, especially if in single homes, the mom is still working, so the children, and when I say children, I really mean youth, although in some cases the youth has to come in with younger kids because they're not going to leave the kid at home. We provide a safe space where they can actually utilize their time in a very holistic way, not only in a very emotional, but also in a physical way. So when this RFP came on, we used to, as Mr. Grimes says, we used to provide fatherhood service for Latino fathers. And we had a very successful Black and Brown initiative. Do you remember when we connected African-American dads and Latino fathers so that we can create some racial reconciliation and all that good stuff? But this is really concrete. It's really 3 nights where they can come in, and we call it Fathers in the Ring because people can come in there. If you have a non-custodial dad, instead of going to McDonald's, right, limited money, they can actually come to our gym, and they actually can work out together. And we'll provide snacks and bus tickets and to people who cannot afford to get there. That's kind of the gist of it. We have a prevention educator, HIV and STIs. There's going to be there also to try to address the issues of premature fatherhood. We always hear about teenage pregnancies, but we're also dealing with the issue of premature fatherhood.
Okay, I just have one question to that. As being a new provider into this, or welcome back.
Thank you.
Into this, what paperwork or what statistics, going to Councilman Miller's point, did the agency ask you to provide?
So I'm not the one that wrote the grant, and the person who actually wrote the grant is not here today. we, in the work that we have done in the past with Latino fathers, we knew that those 3 hours were the very difficult hours for our youth to get involved in a lot of risky behaviors. We've learned that through our work with STIs and HIV. So we felt that that would be a perfect environment to do that. We're committed to providing all the statistics that in all the paperwork that is required from us, of course.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Rojas? All right, thank you.
And you're welcome to come. We're on Old Brooklyn, our academy. So if you ever want to come, you can come. We'll train you.
Yeah. And I just want to add that most of the programs have all of the programs have goals that each program has to meet. Some of the goals are numerical. Some of the goals of over a period of time, have you seen a difference in the relationship with your parents? You know, and for example, with our Prevent Premature Fatherhood in the programs, there's a pre and post test after the presentation to see what you've retained as a result of going through the program. Those are some of the things that are required when we talk about the RFPs and what you have to maintain within your RFP to meet the goals. Those are all, every program has statistical goals that they have to reach.
Thank you. So I want to bring up Circle Health. I've checked off maybe about 5 that were kind of.
Actually, Circle Health is the one that's not here. That was our fathers.
right.
That's our Fathers and Families Together program through the Center for Families and Children. What that is, that's a series of workshops. Cooking with Dad, healthy relationships, living with the law, navigating researchers. So it's a combination of programs. In order to graduate from the program and be reimbursed, a father has to go through 20 hours of programming. So you have to at least go through all 4 of the programs, and then at the end of each program, you're evaluated as to what the effect of the program was.
So all of these contracts are reimbursed?
All
after-
of them are reimbursed. Most of them are reimbursable. There are a couple that aren't reimbursable. The boot camp for new dads that's not cost reimbursable, but you know, they still have to maintain, you know, the standards.
All right, and contract number 4270, which with JD Advertising.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
so
our.
I want to understand, how does that connect with fatherhood? Please come up, state your name.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Joseph Hewitt, JDC Advertising. I've been doing advertising for over 40 years. I started off at Channel 3 here and was there for 10 years, and I've been on my own ever since, so over 30 plus years. I am a high school basketball referee. I played basketball with Mr. Sweeney. I met Dale Miller at Channel 3 40 plus years ago. Ms. Conwell, Councilwoman Conwell, I've met you through the years, and Meredith Turner, I've met you through the years out here. I am proud and honored to be a part of this program. Peter Lawson Jones started this 18 plus years ago and grabbed Mr. Grimes, and Mr. Grimes grabbed me. And I've seen how well the program does for young men here in Cuyahoga County. It has something for everyone. And I go way back when we have Father's Day weekend, we had taking fathers and their kids to the zoo. Okay, we had fathers and their kids at Cleveland Indians games, and I'm dating myself with the Cleveland Indians. But it's just been a fantastic program, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And I thank you all, County Council, to keep funding it. And it's even more, you know, needed now than it's been.
Okay, Mr. Hewitt, how does,
I will ask you to speak up. I'm getting older and,
okay. Mr. Hewitt, how does the public awareness, how do you work with the
Okay.
fathers and the public awareness campaign?
I do the public awareness campaign. I work with the TV stations, radio stations, billboards, kiosks, along those lines, and I get the word out about the program.
Okay.
Okay? I don't have direct contact with the fathers.
Okay.
Okay? My contact is with Al.
Okay, that's what we wanted to understand, yes.
Doesn't have direct contact with fathers, but if there's a success story, and we do that on a regular
And we
basis,
have that, yeah, thank you.
We will put the success stories on the radio so people can hear directly from the fathers who've been impacted.
Okay, so when we hear your voice on the radio, Al, that's part of
Yes,
what
that's
goes
part,
through?
that's the public awareness campaign.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hewitt, unless there was some
All
other
right.
questions.
Good to
All
see
right.
y'all.
Good to see you.
All right.
I just want to add to that because, you know, from the beginning, I've always said, you can have the best program in the world, but if nobody knows about it, you know. So I think public awareness is key to any programs that we have in order to get the word out to the community on what's going on. I use this synonym all the time. You know, you take who's been around the most in terms of fast food, right? And everybody said, well, McDonald's, right? But McDonald's never stops advertising. They continue to get the word out on a regular basis, reminding people. And one of the reasons we work with 211, and so we have a fatherhood line that's available 24 hours a day. He said, well, why is that? I said, well, what we find is, you know, sometimes coming to the realization that you're not doing as much as you can be doing might come at 2 o'clock in the morning. You might be saying, hear an ad at 2 o'clock in the morning, say, man, you know what? I need to get a job. You know, I need to be there more for my kids. So you leave them message with 211. 211 tells you where to call for help. And that's all part of the public awareness campaign.
All right, Director. Moving on, is there anyone here from the Journey Center for Safety and Healing?
Yeah, that's the other program that isn't there. And I can talk about that. That is interesting because that is the one, we have the only supervised visitation and exchange program that's free in the county. Supervised visitation is if a parent can't see their child from one reason or the other, there has been some disagreement in the background, then they can have supervised visits at the Journey Center as part of the whole family reconciliation process. That in the meantime, you know, when parents aren't allowed to be together, they're still getting a contact with the non-custodial parent.
Director, is this an extra of, because I was familiar with the visitation center, but I thought it was just utilized with Department of Children and Family Services. So is this is an addition?
Yeah, this is supervised visits, number one. And number two, it's the exchange program, supervised visit and exchange program. And what exchange program means is that if, for example, myself and my wife get a divorce and I have the child on weekends, every time I go to pick up the child on the weekend, the new boyfriend's on the porch. So there's that drama there, and, you know, then I'm like, okay, or vice versa, same thing. And we have seen over the years how many incidents occur, domestic violence incidents occur during exchanges. And so the exchange programs allows the custodial parent to drop the child off at 5 o'clock on Friday. Non-custodial parent picks them up a couple hours later, and then they reverse the roles on the week. Reverse the roles on Sunday. So that drama that sometimes arrives when it's, you know, two-parent households, we can mitigate that drama. So that's the two components of the supervised visitation program. And like I said, you know, they have been very happy to have this contract for years because other than this, you have to pay for it. So we're providing a service to the community that, No, they would have to look for funding for.
All right, and we'll bring up Ms. Heather Brissett from Murtis Taylor, and I just want to state for the providers, we have new council members on, so sometimes we have to go back so they can understand what the programmings are. It's not,
Heather Brissett, Nate Phillips from our Murtis Taylor Fatherhood Program.
brief synopsis of what you do.
Yeah, I'm going to defer. Hi, my name is Heather Brissett, and I am the, the Vice President of Community Wellness, Chief Program Officer over at Murtis Taylor Human Services Systems, and the Fatherhood Initiative program is under my leadership, and I have the program manager here with us, and Nate, you could speak to the program, please.
Nate Phillips with Murtis Taylor Fatherhood Initiative. This program is powerful. I've been able to be blessed with assisting with the program for probably 8 years now, 8 going on 9 years now. We do preventative fatherhood with young people and work directly with fathers that are referred to us by the courts, the detention centers. Work closely inside of Harbor Light facility with dads coming, back into society on the last, feet getting back into society and connecting them with resources to get back with their children. We do a lot. We use the 24/7 Dads curriculum as a base for our programming. It's 12 hours, helps the father understand how to get back acclimated with their children. And it has its, parts in it, but it goes deeper than that. It's assisting dads that, come to us with child support issues, parenting issues. The benefits of this program being housed in Murtis Taylor is because Murtis Taylor has 100 years of the clinical side of helping people. So, any father that comes to us that has any, mental challenges or, clinical things that need the clinical side, we have, in-house professionals that, we can refer to them. We get a lot of referrals from the juvenile court, and that's it's increasing. But I'll share with you, I like stories. I was working with a dad, and he was referred to me, and he was going through our sessions, 24/7 Dads. He wanted to get back into his child's life. Him and the mom didn't get along, but he was a good dad. He just wanted to get back into the life, and he was struggling. And on the other side of it, I had a referral from juvenile court with the young man that was, kind of acting out and everything and needed some direction, needed some mentoring because they are not really able to utilize the 24/7 Dads. They're not a dad. So that's why it goes deeper. So as working with the young man, with the youth, got him into a summer basketball program, like AAU, so that he wanted to get on the basketball team at school, but his grades weren't there. So we put him in that, helped him really enjoy it, know the importance of getting back in school, getting his grades together so that he can get on the basketball team. As I was working with the dad, I'm getting in, we get in deep. They share open and honestly. And the description that the dad was giving me resembled the young man that I had. So after we talked for a while, he said his young man's name, and I'm like, I have your son, And I asked him, I was like, well, what's your son's last name and what's going on? I knew the situation. And then I had the young man, I said, do you know your dad's name? At another time, he told me his dad's name. And working with the son, I was working with the mom because she is the one that, kind of assisted in getting him to us. Turned out the dad just wanted to be in the child's life. And I had the child in the program, the teenage boy. Talked with the mom, and I asked the dad first. I said, I think I know your son. I think I have your son. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, I got him in a basketball program. And I asked mom if it was okay if I shared the information and asked dad, and they said, yeah. And it turned out, long story short, I worked it out with mom that dad could begin to come to his son's basketball games. And he did. and they formed a relationship. And mom, working with me in trust, allowed it. And in all of our conversations, I share information like Al says, you know, after, you know, two people have a child, it's no longer about them. It's all about the child. So outside of the 24/7 Dads curriculum, we have to really always help the parent understand it's not about you anymore. It's not about the challenges. It's not about the feelings against each other. It's about the child. And when you go into court, continue to say the words, I just want to be a good dad. Do not go in there and badmouth the mom on past things, because when they come to me and say, you know, Nate, you know, excuse my language, but I keep it 100. Nate, she's crazy. And I go, well, if I have a conversation with her, what would she say? So let's get that understood. You've had some challenges, but now it's about the child, and the child having the support of two parents, whether they're in the house or not, because it's very important for especially our young men to have that father, and our young ladies. I have both. So that's like an example of some of the benefits, but we continue, you know, to get, you know, referrals from, you know, juvenile court, the detention facilities, you know, our referrals that come into Murtis Taylor, and it works. It works.
Thank you. Thank you both. Is there anyone here for passages connecting fathers and families?
You know, one of the things I wanted to kind of make it simplified. Like 3 of the programs, the Connecting Families program from Towards Employment, the Family Resiliency program for Passages, and the Rising Above program from Career Development Placement Strategies, our job training and placement programs. I could have, you know, we could have just said job training and placement, but the legal department wants the actual name of the programs, and hopefully that didn't confuse people in looking at the different names and not knowing specifically what they are. So,
Director, the job training programs, you said Rising Above, the Jobs for Dads program, and what's the other one?
Towards Employment.
Towards Employment. So question in regards to job training, is it for how is it interrelate the child and the dad working together to get that job?
I'm going to have Mr. Moore from one of our, Mr. Moore. Actually, the previous title of his program was Jobs for Dads.
Amen.
Go.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Councilwoman.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for this opportunity to present.
State your name.
Brian Moore from Passages. Thank you for this opportunity to present. The Passages Family Resiliency Program, formerly known as Job for Dads, has worked since our inception, which is now, this is our 20th year of working in the Cuyahoga community to provide stabilizing services to families. With regards specifically to the employment program, we work diligently with dads to stabilize them, well, to first overcome the barriers of reentry. Many of our dads, more than 60% of the fathers in our program, do in fact present with some type of involvement with the criminal justice system. So dealing with that anchor, which is around many of these dads, is neck. We have worked with employers who are receptive to hiring individuals that may have a felony background. When we are able to locate those, many of the fathers can't be involved in the lives of their children because they don't have a stable income. That's just to be genuine. The mother doesn't want them involved, and in fact has set up a wedge between the children and them because they're not either receiving child support or they're not receiving direct support from the father. And so helping a father secure meaningful employment is one of the things that we confront, and we're able to stabilize those families because this is one of the barriers that we're able to overcome. If the father has a job, if he's maintaining that employment, it's less likely that he's going to have conflict with the mother of the child. Now, that is obviously a broad statement, but it is one of the first steps that begins the healing process when that father starts supporting financially the family.
Now, Mr. Moore, have you had conversations with Director Simeon Best? He's for Office of Reentry, and he's doing some great initiatives and moving forward in that realm in terms of, since you work with the reentry population.
Thank you, Councilwoman. We absolutely have worked with the Office of Reentry. We even worked with his predecessor.
Crystal Bryant.
Yes, and that predecessor, how far do we
Luis?
go back? Luis Vasquez. So
Okay.
we have been involved for 20 years. The reentry office, I don't think, has been around for 20 years, but as long as it has existed, we have been involved, and we're currently working on a collaboration with Torch Employment for the reentry population as well. You asked a question earlier regarding the detention center. We're not working in the detention center, but we are working at Cuyahoga Hills and at Indian River, and working with those fathers there, providing them with a curriculum called 24/7 Dads, and providing intensive case management. So those individuals, when they leave those correctional facilities, know where to come for ongoing services. So we've already made the linkage in addition to our relationship with Grafton, Lake Erie, correctional institutions. So we're working with youth offenders and adult offenders at the same time.
Thank you. Any questions for, okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Good afternoon.
Moving on, I think we have one or two left. University settlement, is anyone here?
Marcus Jordan, who is the program director at the University Settlement. Used to be Strong Father, no, not Healthy Father, but the Healthy Fathering Program.
Thank you, thank you.
How you doing? Marcus Jordan.
Good afternoon, thank
Good
you.
afternoon,
If you can just give us a brief synopsis of how the University Settlement, Slavic Village, works with the Healthy Fathering Program. How do you link the sons or sons and daughters with their dads?
So basically, the University Settlement Fatherhood Initiative Program is pretty much a program that sponsors to the fathers and their children. And so we want to pretty much strengthen their bonding. That's one of the specific things that we do at the agency. We actually offer the fathers employment services, vocational services. We teamed up with Tri-C at times to get a access center. And then we do educational services as well. So if they need a trade, if they have a high school diploma and they need a GED, or if they want to, upward their education, then we can actually link them to Tri-C. If they want to do a trade, we can actually link them to Tri-C as well. We do vocational services. We also do housing assistance. We do ask that the fathers are in the home. So then if they need rental assistance, we provide that. We actually provide utility assistance. And if they need help with, electricity or gas, et cetera, we provide assistance with that. Sometimes fathers come in and they just want advocate for, the linkage of DCFS. We work hand in hand with them. So if they need help with modifications, child support, not only do I call Al in his department, we actually, contact the case manager or the social worker, and we advocate for them. Or we may go down to the child support office, and I meet them down there, and I advocate for them to get like a modification if they wanted, need a modification. We have a support group meeting every month that we open up to all the fathers in the Cleveland area. It normally or generally used to be 44127, 44105 in Newburgh, but because we've been getting a lot of fathers in the Cleveland metropolitan area, we just expanded the actual area to have, complete services. And so our support group meetings for fathers to come and just, it's an open platform. They speak. We actually provide food. We provide any type of services that they need. It's a non-judgment zone. I normally have a resource vendor that benefits them come through, and it's only from 5 to 7, so it's a 2-hour window period, and then, you know, we ask them to go home. They can leave at that
Are
point.
they bringing their children with them when they
Yes.
come?
Some do and some don't. And that's why we provide the food. And then we also have a little room where the kids can actually play if they need that.
Okay. Any questions? Councilman Miller?
Madam Chair, to the presenter, good afternoon. Thank you very much for the excellent services. And my question is based on your experience. Is a GED just as good as a high school diploma in terms of someone being able to get a job or get into Tri-C, or is an actual high school diploma better?
It's equivalent. It's equivalent. A lot of my fathers that come into the program, they already have a high school diploma, and they want to pretty much, go for a trade, or a lot of them want to do a CDL. The ones that do not have a high school diploma, we have the Access Center across the street, which we have 2 facilities where they can actually get help with their GED.
And if somebody chooses to get an actual high school diploma rather than a GED, is that available for adult learners, or is the GED basically the only way to go that's available?
No, we linked up with different services that offer high school diplomas as well. So they can either go with either route.
So what would be an example of a couple of services that offer high school diplomas?
Well, we actually have one at University Settlement in the Access Center. She does a great job with the fathers who actually need a high school diploma. She sits down, and I think it's a 4 to 5 week class, if I'm not mistaken, and then they go over everything they need to go over. Tri-C is another one that offers that service to complete a high school diploma as well.
So do they actually get the diploma by passing a test?
Yes,
They do.
they have to pass the test. And a lot of them, or a majority of them that takes it, actually passes. And then we actually work with them.
And what institutions actually grant the diplomas?
I know that we actually grant our diplomas in-house. And then, because we have a service for that. And then I'm not sure about what Tri-C, but I'm pretty sure they have that.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Sweeney?
Thank you. Just an observation. Is there a message on your shirt? Or is
No,
that
it
just a
isn't.
design?
No, it's not.
See amen in there somehow.
I mean, I'm a child of God.
That's what and it's nice that every presenter up here calls him Al. You know what I mean? It's just a comfort level of doing a mission together and you're all working together. So
Well, I mean, I call him Mr. Al. I don't just say Al.
I think you snuck an Al out there. I'm just,
Mr.
let's redo that tape.
I'm sorry?
No, we can verify it. I think you just said
Okay.
Al.
Oh, okay.
My bad. I just wanted to just give the reflection of how comfortable everybody is
Okay.
on the same mission. So thank you.
In regards to the fatherhood program, we are expanded to 3 programs as far as the school. It's the A.B. Hart, the Mound Elementary, and Warner, which is all girls academy. And so we go there every week now, and we've been going there for the last 15 years, 20 years for the Fatherhood Initiative program with the University Settlement. And so we go in and we, either do some recruiting or we talk to the fathers, we display activities with them, we have support group meetings there, and we just want to, reach that crowd of fathers. So we do help out in the schools.
And I'm familiar with the Mound School, A.B. Hart and Warner. They're also in Slavic Village area?
Yes. Mhm.
All right.
We are actually having a sneaker ball, which is a father's daughter's dance, in better other words, on the 19th of April. Last month, we had a Dads for Donuts, and a Donuts for Dads event at the Mound and also at the Warner Girls Academy.
Can you send Ms. Sharon information about the sneaker ball?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Well, thank you. We have one other, but I want to, the record to reflect that Councilwoman Stevens is in attendance. And then I think we have one more presenter, if they're here, the Children's Museum of Cleveland. I think I'm from, not here, but I'm kind of familiar with what
Yeah,
they
you're
do.
familiar
Please,
with them. Yeah.
please share with my colleagues.
Right, and then we have Sarah Albrecht from our Boot Camp for New Dads program. So the Boot Camp for New Dads, the fiscal agent for it is Metro Health. However, all of the hospitals in Cleveland have our Boot Camp for New Dads, so they report upward to Sarah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Albrecht. I work at Metro Health Medical Center, and then I manage the Boot Camp for New Dads program. Boot camp is a way to get dads involved in babies' lives while, before baby's born. Normally, it's kind of when we recruit, so it's outreach at all the hospitals. We have classes that are offered at Cleveland Clinic Fairview, Hillcrest, Metro Health, which would be my classes, Southwest, different locations, Ahuja downtown, also at Landerbrook. And then before COVID hit, we had Stephanie Tubbs-Jones, some classes there, South Point and Neon. Those did kind of just collapse because they were smaller hospitals, and we're actually in the process of bringing them back. So it'll be 9 different locations. Also, we've expanded because with COVID, we realized we didn't want to wait years to bring these dads back to the classes, so we started up virtual programs, and those have stuck around because some dads, that's convenient for them. So we actually have kind of increased outreach because of that. So we offer in-person or virtual. The boot camp classes are based on a national program. It's called Boot Camp for New Dads out of Denver, Colorado. And we follow their training guidelines when we train facilitators, and the facilitators are who run the class. So the difference with this program and say other like childbirth classes at hospitals, it really is geared to the dads. We want a place where they're going to be comfortable. So me as a nurse, I'm not allowed to teach the classes. I'm probably too intimidating. So we have dads that are really just dads. They're not, physicians. They're not providers. They have probably taken the class. A lot of times that's how we recruit them. They've been in the class, they really liked it, they got a lot out of it, and they want to come back and kind of help and volunteer. So the facilitators are other dads that just decide they want to help us run our programs. You only have to attend one class, so they come in for a 3-hour session. We have all these different options of different hospitals through the funding. None of the hospitals charge for any of these classes, so your partner could maybe deliver at Metro, but maybe it's convenient for you to take Friday evening class, and so you go to one of the other hospitals. The 3-hour class, we do a little bit of medical teaching because we want to make sure that dads are getting information that we know a lot of times moms get in the hospital, but maybe their partners don't. So in the medical kind of portion of the class, we talk about safe sleep. We make sure dads know how to set up a safe sleep environment in their home, whether they're living together with mom or not. We talk about calming babies, how to soothe a baby that's crying, and really just try to make it a comfortable space. Some of the class is just about fatherhood. What was your dad like? And the facilitator talks about, how they are as a father and maybe how their father was as a father. So for us, we do some statistics just so we know that we can improve. We give out evaluations at the end of the class and also statistics to know that our program is helping. We do evaluations, so we make it easy. The dads at the end of class fill out an evaluation, and some of our statistics are, we ask a question like, how comfortable are you soothing a crying baby? And normally the dads in this class have not had babies before. This is their first time. In pre-class, we'll have a rate, like last year was 15% would say, yeah, I'm comfortable taking care of a crying baby. In post-class, that jumps to 75%. So just hearing from other dads about how they've comforted their babies. Another big point of this class is we bring back a veteran dad. So that means somebody's gone through the class while their partner was expecting, and they say they're willing to come back with their baby. So we have a facilitator teaching, and then a dad will come back with his 3 or 4 month old and actually be holding the baby while they're doing this class, changing diapers for the other dads to see. I went in and watched a training, and all the dads got up to get around the dad as he's putting his baby in a car seat. So like, we don't know how to put our newborn baby in a car seat and how to buckle things safely. So I think that's a really neat experience for them too. A lot of our other classes, we're just using dolls. You know, we're diapering a doll and bringing the plastic babies out, which are not the same. So a lot of outreach. Our goal is to try to make sure we're hitting 1,000 people attending our class for the year, and we came really close to that last year. We had 986 guys attending, and we have gone up every year since COVID. We were kind of at our low around 700 or so. But yeah, that's kind of the basic of our program. Any questions?
Yes, is it offered, Ms. Albrecht, to all fathers that have babies in the hospital?
Yeah, we don't actually look through hospital records to see, like, where are you expecting? I've had some dads that have called and said, my baby's 6 months old, can I come to class? And we're like, sure, if you want to. Yeah, we don't exclude. There's so many class options. We still have ability to fill classes. Like, a lot of times there might be 10 to 12 people in a class. We could probably get in 20 or more. So yeah, it doesn't matter what hospital you're delivering at again. It's open to anyone who's a partner that says they're a father, so it's not necessarily, you know, we don't have restrictions. You have to be a dad or you have to be male. Anybody can come that wants to have that experience.
Yeah, I was just wondering for statistics, how do you connect? A father goes through the program. Is there any linkage or connection that you look in hospital records to see if the child's in emergency? I don't.
No, we don't actually go into any records afterwards. Most of our statistics are really all coming just from those evaluations that are done at class time.
Okay, so
Each hospital probably has some of their own ways of looking at some of those stats, but I don't gather that information.
Okay, so basically it's successful if the father comes in and
Gains confidence, you know, feels like they go home learning something. We have a couple questions on the evaluation too, like, you know, what are the ABCs of safe sleep? So we try to see if they've got some learning afterwards. We're also adding in information about supporting breastfeeding because we know how good that is for babies and improving infant mortality. So we're adding kind of some breastfeeding support to that. I also get some funding for the program through Metro Health's Bruning Foundation, so we kind of add that together, and that's how we fund the facilitators who go out to the correctional facilities to teach classes. And also combining both funding, we now give pack and plays to dads. So it's pretty easy for a mom to get a pack and play. There's other services that can give that for them, but not dads. They normally aren't able to use cribs for kids. And so we say, hey, you come to the class. If you need one, you do the evaluation. We know you got something out of the program. We'll make sure you can go home with the pack and play as a safe place for baby to sleep.
all right, is there a pre-test, post-test?
Yep,
anything?
pre-test and post-test, yeah. They just pretty much do both the day of. Yeah.
I think we've covered all the providers. Thank you, Al, once again.
I just want to add one more thing about
Yes.
Boot Camp for New Dads. And I don't want people to take it for granted. All of the fathers who attend the class do get a pack and play. And we know as a county, we are really trying to attack infant mortality. And we know that African-American babies are dying at 5 times the rate of other babies. And so as a community, we're doing everything that we can to reduce that gap, number one, and to lower infant mortality countywide. So in addition to our Boot Camp for New Dads, my office now has a pack in place. So if you have anyone who is a new dad or a new father up to 1 year old, or an expecting dad, then pack and plays give them that ability to have a child sleep alone on their back and in a crib.
Thank you. I would like to make a motion to, it looks like it just needs second reading suspension.
Yeah,
4-1. No, you
Could I
got,
ask for second
you
reading?
got
I was
4-1.
going to ask for that. Thank you.
Suspension, okay. I'll make a motion to move R2024-0128 to the full council on second reading suspension. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Conwell, seconded by Stevens. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
please add my name.
yes.
Uh,
The whole committee. That
Also,
makes it
I wanted to extend an invitation to the director. April 27th,
Oh,
Saturday,
I need to mention.
1 to 4 p.m. I'm hosting in partnership with the Office of Reentry, the Office of the Cuyahoga County Public Defender's Office, and a whole bunch of other partners, an expungement fair or our Fresh Start Fair, and would love for any of the organizations here today to join us.
Okay.
I can share that information with you, and
And yeah, we have a monthly steering committee where all of our programs are on right now a Teams call, and so we share all of the community information to those folks at that particular time. So I'll make sure that that goes out.
thank you.
And while you guys are all here, I would like to share that free programs are always very needed in our communities. They have Beat the Streets of Cleveland. That's a wrestling program that's offered free. It's across the street from the Boys and Girls Club. So any of you, Demetrius O. Williams is the executive director. And so the administrator, as well as the council president and myself, visited the program. There's so much that utilize it in your fatherhood program, so please share the information. I know transportation is always the issue that we have in the community, a barrier, but go and check it out. You'll be amazed of the young kids, boys and girls, that like wrestling, and they're trying to raise funds now to turn the warehouse into classroom settings, not just so they can have a lot more resources under that building. But they also teach community giving. They have hours for the children to do community giving back to the community if they want to attend trips, and those trips are out of the country, and many of us have not been out of the country. So if I'd say anything that is a gem in our community, please look it up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, any other
Madam Chair.
miscellaneous business? Councilman Miller?
I would just like to share that April is Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Month. We wear blue in solidarity with that effort, and encourage everyone to do everything you can to increase awareness about the need for prevention. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you very much.